Greetings and welcome to my dear Virgo. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. I shall be doing a non-card spread for you with clarifiers. This is a reading for the energy of Virgo, the grounded magician, and that which reflects on self-criticism, analysis, and representation of certain things that have a magical luster to them. This is the sign of devotion to the Vestal Virgin, as well the sign of alchemy in the highest degree. Please clear your mind, if you will, and we shall get started on the Great Mirror. There's a strong fire energy with the energy of Mars as well as the Sun igniting combustion as well as the expansion of certain drives that are led by the energy of Aries. The Fool is here as well. The King of Rods is here. And between them, there is a need to essentially find a sense of balance and reciprocity. The requirement here is that the structures or the master work behind certain details around the practicality of a situation are being renegotiated, and essentially there's a need to redefine the foundation and find a way to empower through the reflection of the above and the below some great synthesis. Okay, so there is a synastry here as well as a complexion between the energy of of um, of Aries as well as of Leo, most definitely. Or it could just be the energy of Aries and Mars as a compelling factor. As you move into August, there is a possibility that there is a revamping or perhaps a reoccurrence or a reignition of certain drives to actually move towards something that would have you feel in a sense of balance as well as a sense of power. Now, when it comes to this connection with you and your significant other, there is another who is essentially revisiting some great emotional details here that have to do with investments, longevity, as well as propriety with emotions that once held quite a heavy deal of credence. And these are being revisited in a way. There is a reworking. Okay. Now it's interesting because I feel that there is something amiss here when it comes to this Eight of Cups in reverse. We'll figure it out. So the energy of Virgo. The 7 to the 8 as well. The 7. Okay, so there's a mystery here when it comes to this Eight of Cups in reverse. It's negotiating the path work that it comes from, essentially from the Seven of Cups mostly, but that's also in reverse. So there's a sense of clarity as well as a sense of purity when it comes to the 8 to the 1 as well as the 7 to the 1. There's like a 1 or the 1. There's essentially a 2 of Cups energy or a hidden ace here. Of cups, and that's a wonderful thing. However, there is backtracking here, and someone had to essentially let loose a bit of the mental constraints and the mental sort of the mental stigmas that were causing essentially a very very hesitant and debilitating sort of mind when it comes to this. They had to escape. But they had to do so on their own, and now they're returning back to the scene of the crime or perhaps to the emotional pardon, the emotional investments or the emotional sort of um, memories of the past connection. So there's an emotional despondency here in the past with this person. However, they return to it and consciously they process it and they try to let loose any of the obstacles. But as they do this, they're finding that they have two minds, and one mind is essentially in conflict with the other when it comes to the other mind, trying to make up its mind. So very complex, but there is clarity here, at least on an emotional level. The floodgates are opening, and the difference between these leads to the ace, or perhaps to the Two of Cups energy, potentially. Um, Now, on your end, you have the Hierophant here, Taurus. Taurus is activated, as well as the synthesis, or at least the Vestal garb that brings the spiritual world and the material world together. There is a connection that you are pointing at, and it's quite clear. It could be a promise that you've made to them, or perhaps that they owe you in some sort of way as a sort of spiritual initiator, someone who is very well versed in the actual practicality of certain commitments that are not only grounded in this world but on the next. And there seems to be some sort of retribution between you two, building up into this energy, which is the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is also a Taurian energy, slow moving, yet steady, and also full of method. So there's a possibility for this person on a conscious level that you know that they may be coming to you to offer you something as well. They probably know that they have to. So that's the interesting thing. And if they don't do it, I don't think you're going to be really caring about the connection that much. But it's more up to them to move towards you. But the problem is that it is quite slow movement. Very lethargic, very self-indulgent, this one. At the same time, what you desire is for them to actually not come as a knight, but as a king. The problem is with this king is that he idealizes the pentacle that he offers. It's more through his words. It's more through the king's sort of promise. The word is like the bond, and the word becomes material. The word becomes flesh with the king of pentacles. And there's also something here about the hidden pentacle in his garb, which he also holds as a resource that he is not giving. So it's more of a transfiguration of, say, the Eucharist, in which the material becomes a spiritual thing, or perhaps vice versa. Anyways, the offer is wanted, and I think you're not going to move from your throne of the holy place. I mean, you have the great pillars here, which is indicative of the 11, which is sort of like a leadership position. You're sort of leading this person back to the hearth of emotional grandeur that you once shared together. Now, on their end, interesting. They want to keep this secret from you, at least the emotions. They want to hold it back. But the eclipse season was quite intense on them, and now there is an intensified loyalty, a double loyalty, if you will, that they feel is an echo, and there's a great deal of emotions in this echo as well. There's a great rift between you two in the cycles of the moon that is now becoming apparent as well. The radiance of the sun brings its mystery as it eclipses the moon. There is an option, or at least an ability, to open up to the esoteric realms as well as the shadow realms to understand the depth and complexity of this, but they want to shield your vision from it. As well, there is a possibility that you are willing to make ends meet elsewhere. Now, between you two, there's the card of karma here with justice, as well as the number 8, which is transformation, as well as the sign of Taurus and Libra. It's kind of like the Empress, but this one is more vocal as well, willing to weigh the pros and cons and work with the other in order to initiate the other. So here, there is an element of justice coming your way, as well as you embodying justice and moving elsewhere with your resources. Also a possibility that they might have to deal with a sense of karmic justice in a point where they will realize some sort of great truth through the energy of the moon, which could be revealed and may reveal a cycle here. Let's see. Let's choose 3 cycles of the moon in terms of eclipses, lunar eclipses. There they are. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, one is a period of quite a great deal of love. Unfortunately, it is laced with the King of Swords energy, but the sword is hidden, but it's there ready to strike. So this lover has a duplicitous sort of nature with the king. That's one of the hidden truths. So it's a great deal of love, a massive amount of it, but also a hidden truth, which we can't discern now. Also, there is a point within the mysteries of the moon that have to do with the Two of Swords energies, more moon energy, moon in Libra, the inability to make a choice. Also, the two echoes here, causing an eclipse of tension here. As they realize these emotions, they realize that they are driven into even more stagnation. But the swords are also there. Two swords, one sword here, as well as the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is usually your card, which is the hard work, the detail, the 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 finer grain of such materiality is here with the energy of Virgo. There's something about you that they value, that they want to um, kind of understand a bit more, um, especially because Pisces is here. There's the seventh house activation from 8 and 1, as well as the 9. Some sort of philosophy, or at least a religious principle, tied back to devotion and devotion of oneself to a higher cause, loyalty to this. Very interesting. Also, the 3 and the 3 of Pentacles arrives. Anyways, so within the mystery of the moon, it gets even more befuddled, but essentially, there's someone who loves you with a great deal of emotions, but also there's the reason for them to hide something. They are stagnant as well. They're adopting a bit of your seventh house, or um, your idea of practicality when it comes to something detail, as well as self-criticism, as well as hard work in general. And they also fear this. They fear that if they don't do this right, the reaping will come and the moon cycles will have no value at all. So there's an ability for them to lose or slip or become kind of insane. Very deep. Now, on their end, they also have the Queen of Cups. So the King and the Queen of Cups shows up as this masculine, feminine force of incredible emotions. Like I said, this person is revisiting this, and they're trying to avoid karma. They want to slowly make the approach to you. You feel somewhat indebted to them, or at least that they should come into some sort of contract with you because you feel you've earned it. At the same time, you want them to come right and come with like an elevated sort of approach. Okay, I'm talking about the word made flesh, so things that are said that become the body and become the grounding aspect of the situation. Now on the other side, you have the Four of Swords here in the upright, which is good. If it were in the downright, it would not be so good. But because the swords are in the essentially the soul level, the unconscious level, there's a great deal of psychological sort of things that you're healing up on, which is great. Meaning that you've had to process a great deal of heartbreak, and from this, a truth comes that resonates with your soul. And what lies between you two is an element more of karma. So two cards of karma here, justice as well as the Wheel of Fortune, and the great cycle approaches here, the great pentacle itself of time, of energy, of resources, of shifting when it comes to social dynamics. There's something about this situation that has to do with the apparent shift between both of you, and perhaps this person was once empowered to walk away, but now there's a return, and now on your end, like you have risen up to the energy of the Hierophant, which is a beautiful placement. Um, but yeah, I think that's it, and I think I should leave there. As far as advice goes, the advice is saying, okay, there is a secret truth here that is hidden. Why? Because this person is going through some sort of shift, or perhaps you are. There's a spiritual undertone towards the truths that want to be delivered, but yet cannot be uttered because of the energy of the moon here. And this moon is willing. It's willing to be itself. It's willing to power. And it's very difficult because the secret has to, and it involves, as I mentioned before, the Three of Swords energy that has been quite difficult, as well as the burnout. So they're trying to process this. They're trying to go back to the actual value of emotions that they rejected at one point. Right. So hopefully that helps. That is your August reading. So please do take care now, and blessings on your path. Bye bye.